Pickens Jackson.
Hey, what do you say we sing a driving song?
There's not going to be any singing around here. Just
real sports.
On the Afternoon Drive with Jake Wimberly.
Oh, this is going to be sweet.
And it's all right here, right now on ESPN 105.9 The Zone and online at thezone1059.com.
Happy Valentine's Day. Welcome in. It is the Afternoon Drive. Champ of the Chair Sports Maven on a Wednesday. Wims Wednesday. Winners Wednesday. Who's winners and who's losers today? Have you got your Valentine's stuff in? Hey, you want to go to Nandy's Candy if you hadn't? They're still open. Great candy, flowers, all kinds of stuff. Nandy's Candy. Go to nandyscandy.com for more information. And, of course, we're brought to you by Ameristar Casino. Get out and play today. Can you bump those up just a little? Just a little. Check one. There we go. Perfect. Brought to you by Ameristar. Oop, down just a little. 1, 2. I think that works. Hearing aids, man. Got to get with the hearing aids back there. What's going on? Hey, we're brought to you by Ameristar Casino. Get out and play today. A lot to get into at Ameristar with college basketball. You got college baseball it's about to happen. 2 days? We'll see if Chris Lamonis is going to hang around. See what's going on at Oxford with Mike Bianco. You can play all that at Ameristar Casino. Text us 601-885-3776. Make your house a home today with Cowboy Maloney's 13 locations around the state. Online at cowboymaloney's.com. And you can always call us on the Malone Roofing caller line, 601-885-3776. And, of course, you call us here, 601-897-1059. Call Malone at 8337-MALONE. Commercial, residential roofing done right with Malone Roofing Services. And we're brought to you by Clinton Body Shop, XFeed at Jake Wim, 2 locations, Clinton and Richland, OEM factory certified. Tyler Cleveland will join us at 3:30. We'll talk the MHSA Girls Awards, Basketball Awards. We'll talk guys tomorrow, as we're about 2.5 weeks, 3 weeks away from the championship games down at the Coliseum. We got the girls on deck today. Kelly Ford, 4:30 to 5. Chris Marlar that should be 5:15, by the way. That doesn't say that over there. No time on that. That should be 5:15. All right, Beav, it's Valentine's. Did you get me anything for Valentine's today? I don't see any flowers. I don't see any cake or candy. I don't see anything.
Oh, well, maybe I should have joined the people I saw at the Krogs at 11 o'clock this morning buying Valentine's, buying flowers and balloons. It's 11 o'clock on the day of. If you wait, shame on you.
Of course. I'm trying to see, do we know what the exact number? $6.4 billion on jewelry, $2.6 billion on flowers, $3 billion on clothing, $4.9 billion on evening outs. Can you believe that? That's 4, 10, 12, almost $20 billion on Valentine's. Can you believe that? Can we officially call Valentine's Day a ripoff? A doctrinated holiday to make money?
I mean, if you're Billy Zane, sure, and you hate love, you want to stand in the way of love, okay.
Almost $20 billion in this country on Valentine's from jewelry. It's hard to believe. Well, jewelry is the most expensive, $6.4 billion. Almost $3 billion on flowers. Did we do this wrong? Should we have had a flower shop? I mean, if they're pulling this kind of money, $3 billion on clothing and $4.9 billion on evenings out. That is unbelievable. Think about that. And then we still have a divorce rate that's out of this roof and a breakup rate that's out of this roof. So where's all the money going? What's it going to? Does it make a difference in the love life? No. I feel like this could be a Dr. Drew podcast all of a sudden. Hey, there's a lot to get into. Let's get started. All right, so speaking of numbers, The Chiefs win over the 49ers in the Super Bowl. The numbers are out if you hadn't seen it. 123.4 million people viewed the Super Bowl across all platforms. And the game on CBS was 120. 123.4 total. So you had another 20-something million on streaming and all kinds of other stuff. If not in the college football playoff, the 10 schools leaving the Pac-12. Remember, everybody's leaving the Pac-12. The best way to frame this up, except Oregon State and Washington State, because it seems like nobody really wanted them. But the 10 schools leaving the Pac-12 likely will still play in Pac-12 affiliated bowls the next 2 years. Not in bowls tied with their new leagues. Sources tell Action Sports Network the Pac-12 bowls, of course, the Alamo, Las Vegas Holiday Sun, Los Angeles Bowl, and the Independence. So they're in different conferences, but they'll still play in those bowls because of the tie and the contracts to the now defunct Pac-12. Speaking of the Pac-12, the Pac-12 is starting the process of separating itself from George Kliavkoff. A little too late for that, but they are putting that out there, that they're severing ties, the two, from George Kliavkoff. Notre Dame and Army will play a November 23rd game at Yankee Stadium this year, celebrating the 100th anniversary of the fabled Four Horsemen backfield. So you'll get Yankee Stadium, Army, Notre Dame. Brett McMurphy has his way too early college football playoff projections out. We'll get into that. It's never too early for some playoff projections. Also, Texas. Ross Dellinger reports Texas Athletics Director Chris Del Conte indicates that the SEC is targeting the 2026 season to begin a 9-game conference schedule, a long-expected move away from 8. So based on Del Conte's conversation with Dellinger and others, you'll go 8 conference games this year, 8 next year, and then 2026 will be 9 conference games. And we knew at some point they were going to do that. College leaders, we'll get into this a little later on, tell Ross Dellinger and Yahoo Sports they've begun to explore serious change to the NCAA tournament and college football playoff in the wake of the SEC Big Ten joint venture, a deep dive, ACC's Big 12 in the Big 12's role, inevitable expansion of March and March Madness, college football playoff dollar overhauls, and modifications of Project Division 1. And yesterday, Washington State, remember Kirk Schultz of Washington State has kind of been the bump in the road here for the college football playoff committee to officially go from a 6+6 model to a 5+7. Well, because he's basically saying, hey, the Pac-12 is still a thing. It's 2 teams, but it's still a thing, and there's still contracts that we have to honor. You guys have to honor. Well, he will formally present today, and he may have already done that. No, excuse me, next week, a proposal for the Pac-12 to be treated as a Power 5 conference in revenue and voting rights in the future. Quote, we don't just feel that we should be relegated by no fault of our own. So this man is going to have a filibuster of sorts to try to convince the committee that the Pac-12, now 2, should still be treated as a Power 5 conference. Can you believe this? This is wild, absolutely wild. Also, your San Francisco 49ers coach Kyle Shanahan announces on a conference call that he has fired defensive coordinator Steve Wilks. Did you see this coming? Jason in Flagstaff on the Cowboy Maloney's text line. It's only a ripoff to the degree that people aren't willing participants. Well, that is true. Talking about Valentine's Day. Also, sources courtesy of Ian Rappaport, in the NFL, Commanders general manager Adam Peters is hiring the Detroit Lions senior director of player personnel, Lance Newmark, as the new assistant general manager. And this is important because this gentleman was, or at least they say he is inspirational to building this roster that the Lions have. So the Lions lose him to the Commanders in the National Football League. Ohio State has fired their head basketball coach, Chris Holtmann, so he is out, and Ohio State will be looking for a new basketball coach. We got updated NFL mock drafts on quarterbacks and all kinds of stuff. By the way, your boy J.J. McCarthy keeps moving up these mock drafts. He was in the 20s. He was at 15. Now he's down to 13. Jim Harbaugh may be onto something. This guy may be the number one pick by the time the draft hits. It could be J.J. McCarthy, believe it or not. Let's see. RT. What would be the worst Valentine's present for Beaver? A wood-burning stove. Now, why would a wood-burning stove be a bad Valentine's gift for you? I don't know what that means. Do you not burn wood?
I don't know. There's got to be something there with some kind of play on the name Beaver and wood and, whatnot.
Okay. I didn't know. I didn't know if maybe he was calling you like a witch of sorcery of sorts. You think wood-burning stove, Hansel and Gretel out in the...
It's quite a stretch.
I'm just...
Good Lord.
Both ends of the mine. Both ends of the mine. Before we take a break, ESPN has updated. It's way too early. College football top 25. Ole Miss checks in at number 6. And Missouri checks in at number 7. Georgia number 1. Ohio State 2. Oregon 3. Texas 4. Notre Dame 5. We're brought to you by Ameristar Casino, and we're brought to you by Dr. Erica Bass and Mississippi Premier Plastic Surgery. Let their team help you this year. At Mississippi Premier Plastic Surgery, Dr. Bass performs the Awake liposuction procedure in the clinic with a local anesthetic, and there's little to no downtime for the procedure. 601-981-2525. Tyler Cleveland coming up in 20 minutes.
This is the home of the Chuck Oliver Show every weekday from 10 till noon on Mississippi's live and local sports authority. And where? We're back to Jake Quiverly with the afternoon drive on ESPN 105.9 The Zone and online at thezone1059.com.
Brought to you by Malone Roofing Services. ECMalone.com is their website. 8337 Malone, commercial residential roofing done right with Malone Roofing Services. We'll have Tyler Cleveland in next segment. We'll talk MHSA basketball, girls championships, and, of course, girls winners for Player of the Year awards as we move along. Hey, what's your best or worst? I'm just curious, like, Valentine's gift. I'm serious. Like, I'm curious, like, what do guys typically get? Would you be offended? Let's just hear me out. We find that future wife of yours, and you're in all this debt that we want to get you in. You have all these kids running around, and then Valentine's hits. Would you be offended by any gift your future ex-wife would get you? Like, women would get offended, right? They may not tell you that. Yeah. Remember, Chris was in here about his birthday, his wife's birthday, and she said, "You don't have to get me anything." And then he was asking us last time, should he really? Remember, he brought that to the air. And we know, like, you need to get something. Like, women will get offended. There's no telling what. I'm going to say, I don't have any data to back this up. 33% of women, a third, will be offended by what they get today. Is that high or is that low?
That feels about right, because a lot of people are going to make bad decisions. The guys will make a bad decision, and therefore that will lead to a woman getting angry. So a third, I'll go with that, somewhere around there.
RT says a vacuum cleaner. Yeah, you don't want to get a woman a vacuum cleaner. Like, I can't imagine, even if she tells you, I need some pots. Like, I need something for my kid. I don't know that she really means that. I feel like there's almost a test.
Yeah, I don't feel like, I don't know, it's not a day for practical gifts. A vacuum cleaner, practical, because you clean your house, but you can get that any other day of the week.
Is a oversized teddy bear a bad gift for a woman? What do you even do with an oversized teddy bear unless you're a kid?
Just hangs out there.
Even the kids don't do a whole lot with it. They just end up sticking it in the corner in their room. Then they wrestle with it every now and then. Your little boys, they may just like beat it up, like act like it's a wrestling partner. But what would a woman do with an oversized teddy bear? Now, they want to win them at the fair, but I don't know that it's a good Valentine's gift. A candle. Is a candle a bad gift?
Get dumb. Get out of here with this candle. You'd love a candle.
Who, me?
Yeah.
Of course I would.
You love these candles.
I burn candles every day.
I don't like candles as a gift.
So if I bought you some candles when I go get them, you wouldn't use them. We need a candle in that kitchen right now.
Apparently.
Somebody dumped some fish, something in there. I don't know what's in there.
Ugh. There's no thought behind a candle, though.
RT, we're not going down that road. We are not going down that road. What about a night at the movies? That's kind of a good gift, right? You get a chance to get out, go get some popcorn, hang out. What about a bottle of wine? You see where I'm going here? Like, there's not a lot of things that are just popping off the page that this is such a manufactured holiday. But billions, 20 billion to be exact, is made on Valentine's Day. All right, ESPN and the college football playoff have reached a 6-year, speaking of billions, 6-year, $7.8 billion media rights extension for the expanded playoffs. I'll get into that. That's courtesy of Andrew Marchand, ESPN and On3.com. Also, 18 Michigan players are invited to the NFL Scouting Combine. That breaks LSU's record of 16 in 2020. Think about that. In 2020, the LSU football Tigers with Joe Burrow, who some say could be the best one-year team ever in the history of college football. Could you make that argument? Those LSU Tigers? 16. Michigan is sending 18. So, in the context of this argument, can we make the case that this year's Michigan team was the greatest football team in one year ever in college football?
Beg pardon?
Could you make the argument that this
Based on what?
18 guys are going to the NFL Combine for Michigan? That's 3 players shy of a starting offense and defense.
No. No, because this team would lose to 2019 LSU. This team would lose to 2020 Alabama. And that's just right off the top of my head.
We don't know that.
Yeah, I feel like we can safely assume that, though.
Something to think about. Speaking of the New Orleans Saints, something to think about, are expected to hire Derek Foster as their new running backs coach. Foster worked for the Chargers the last 3 years and coached players like Austin Eckler. So the Saints continue to make those moves in the offseason like a lot of people. Preseason 2024 Heisman odds are out, if you care. Carson Beck and Quinn Ewers are tied at plus 750, 7.5 to 1. Carson Beck, the quarterback at Georgia. Quinn Ewers, Texas. Dylan Gabriel, 10 to 1, Oregon. Will Howard, quarterback, Ohio State, 10 to 1. Jalen Milroe, 12 to 1. Nico Iamaleava. Did I say that wrong again? How do you say it?
Iamaleava.
Are you sure about that?
Yes. And while we're at it, it's never been Klavikov either. I saw that story this morning, and I was like, finally, he's out of a job, so I won't hear Jake say this name anymore.
That's the way it's pronounced. How do you pronunciate it?
It's not even spelled that way.
It's how it pops off the page. How do you say it?
It's Kilovkov. There's an I. There's an I you're not even putting there.
I've heard people on TV say Klavikov.
Well, if people on TV said it, then I stand corrected.
We know they're right? So how do you say Deco's last name again? How do you say it?
Iamaleava.
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 I wonder if AI. I'm going to test this during the break.
Were you about to say AI?
AI.
Now talk about someone you don't need to listen to, or something you don't need to listen to.
Hey, you can get Garrett Nussmeier at LSU at 18 to 1. Jackson
Nussmeier.
What are we doing here today? Nussmeier. How do you say it?
Nussmeier.
Emphasis, right?
This is a thing. You know what? No better day on Valentine's Day. I've been sitting here long enough to where I keep hearing you pronounce these things I hate. And now on this day of love, I finally am putting it out there.
I like this. So we'll just all show.
It's because I love you.
Thank you. See? Full circle.
I hate the words you say, but I love you.
So all day long, you get a chance to do that. Jackson Dart, did I do that right? 18-1. Connor Wigman, or is it Wegman? Texas A&M, 20-1. Cam Ward, Miami, 20-1. That could be your sleeper right there. Miami, 20-1. If Miami can have a special season. But that's a big, big if. Hey, we're brought to you by Capital Orthopedic, online at capitalortho.com. Let them help you in Flowood, Madison, Clinton, Brookhaven, Hazelhurst, and Kosciuszko. Move better, live better, be better with Capital Orthopedic. 601-987-8200. Tyler Cleveland coming up in just a bit.
We got that and a whole lot more around here. It's the Afternoon Drive with Jake Wimberly.
What's the score?
He's got that, along with the hottest sports stories of the day on ESPN 105.9 The Zone and online at thezone1059.com.
We're brought to you by Madison PTS. Go to ptsports.training. That's ptsports.training. Let Bill Thomas and his team professionals help you at PTS Power Pitching. And, of course, they're located at 316 Old Jackson Road in Gluckstadt. Right now you can sign up for sports evaluation, also arm care program, strength and conditioning classes, velocity enhancement, and more. Hey, let them help you find out your numbers like Repsato, Pitch Logic Ball, also Pulse sensors for the elbow, Blast Motion sensors for batting. Ask about cage rentals, workout plans, and more. Go to ptsports.training. Tyler Cleveland, SB Live, kind enough to take a break on playing a little golf. Tyler, what hole are you on, sir? Thank you for taking some time. How are you?
I timed this right. I'm right at the turn, Jake. I've already blown my brains out, so I have nothing to worry about.
This is, perfect timing right at the turn, so hopefully we can reset and you can have a better back nine here. All right, we've got the Miss Basketball Awards coming up, presented by C Spire, and those winners have been announced. Now, those awards will be after the championship games coming up here at the end of the month. Let's talk about that. Tomorrow we'll talk to you about the guys, and again, the MHSA continues to do a great job with their awards banquets and recognizing the best of the best in all of the big sports around the state of Mississippi. Also, thanks to C Spire for the sponsorships on this and, of course, coverage like what you guys do at SB Live. Let's start 1A basketball. Kiana Foote from Blue Mountain, a senior, wins the 1A award. What can you tell us about her?
Well, it's rare that you get a 6-foot guard in 1A like Kiana. She's been good all year. She's the only girl on this list that I haven't seen in person. But it doesn't take long looking at film to see why she's so special. I mean, she averaged 16 points a game and 8.3 assists, which is an astronomical number. So she makes her team better, and I think she's a big reason why Blue Mountain has the best record, I think, boys or girls, at 25-1 in the whole state.
25-1. We'll see if they can make it down to the big house. Tyler Cleveland, SB Live, talking 2024 women's basketball, and of course talking about the Miss Basketball Awards presented by C Spire. 2A, Macy Pfeiffer. I feel like we've given this young lady like 25 awards already, and she earns every one of them. 2A, Miss 2A, Macy Pfeiffer from Ingomar.
Yeah, I wrote in the story we had with the announcement that they're going to have to put another wing on the Pfeiffer house to house all of her awards. I mean, you know, she won Miss Basketball last year. She won Miss Volleyball this year. The only reason she didn't win it the year before is because we did not have it. It was the inaugural year for Miss Volleyball. She's got 3, should be 4. She's just an incredible player. I mean, everybody who's been to the big house the past 2 years has seen her. She did it as an 8th grader. She did it as a freshman. She did it as a sophomore, and now in her junior year. She's just been instrumental for Ingomar. She's only 5'11", but she has a nose for buckets. Man, she can score from anywhere. She's averaging over 20 points a game, leads them in rebounding. I think she was pretty much a shoo-in. This was probably a pretty easy decision for the committee.
3A is also I believe a repeat winner, Miss Sanaya Cook Jr. from Boonville. When you say girls basketball, much like Ingomar, or the next one coming up, Choctaw Central, you say Boonville, you know it's big-time girls basketball here in this state.
Yeah, I mean, a lot of times with these awards, being the best player on the best team is enough to get it. And Sanaya Cook is certainly that. I mean, she's been fantastic again this year. She's led Boonville, who's, knocking on the door of another MHSA championship. Michael Smith does such a good job with both the boys and the girls up there. So no surprise to see Sanaya here. She's just a dominant inside player. in a league where you just don't have very many of those.
When you move on to 4A, you're talking about Choctaw Central senior Madison Bell.
She is Jake, she's just the latest to come out of that. They've got a youth program over there on the reservation that has, like 200 girls in it, and they play basketball day and night growing up. They all play the same system, so they learn it coming up. And Madison Bell she's the engine that makes that, she's the oil that makes that engine purr, is what I'm trying to say. She is just a fantastic player. Her numbers don't jump off the page at you like they do some of the other girls on this list, but Choctaw Central spreads it around so much, and I don't think the committee held that against her. I mean, she's averaging 13 points a game and 3.5 rebounds, but 4 assists, so she's obviously elevating everybody else around her.
Yeah, you talk about that Choctaw Central program. I was talking to somebody down at the Big House last year about it, and I was unaware until they told me just what you said. They start these young ladies and the guys, these what I call feeder programs, 200-300 people, and they carve this thing down as they get to the high school team. I mean, to get just on the high school team is a kind of a badge of honor, so to speak. There, it would sound like. And you talk about the brand of basketball. I mean, it is in your face basketball.
Yeah, I mean, I don't think they have a player that's over 5'10", and they're just dominant. I'm talking about like the way they spread the ball around and they run the set plays. I mean, a lot of high school basketball, it's based on athleticism, and theirs is not at all. I mean, it is a team game. The way they play. And like I said, I don't think the committee was going to hold Madison's scoring average against her when they're so proficient because she's so good.
5A winner. You got to go to Holmes County to get the 5A winner, senior Dakira Mitchell.
Yeah, man. She'd be a bigger name in Mississippi if you didn't have to drive all the way to Goodman to see her. She is a fantastic player. She's 5'6". She doesn't, when you see her get off the bus, it's not anything to look at. But once she puts on the sneakers, man, averaging 16 points a game and 4 rebounds, 3 assists, and 3 steals. She's just the leader of that Holmes County team that's 22-6 for a reason. I mean, they're really good, and she's probably their best player.
Tyler Cleveland, SB Live, taking us through the 2024 Miss Basketball Awards presented by C Spire. These awards will be after the championships first week in March. 6A winner, you got to go to South Panola. Again, another senior, Miss Kamaya Griffin.
Yeah, she's a really good player. And this is one I had to watch film on because I saw her one time. It was really early in the year, so I had to go back and watch film. But I was reminded quickly why she's so good. She's got South Panola to 20-3 overall. She's 5'11". She plays inside. Probably translates to a guard at the next level, but she plays inside for them. She's got big-time scoring ability, and her motor runs high. I mean, she leads the team in rebounds most every night. So another easy decision, I think. There were a couple of good candidates, but Kamaya Griffin really kind of rose to the top.
Last but certainly not least, 7A, first 7A winner ever, because we're just in the first year of 7A classifications here for the MHSA. Starkville senior Tootie Lockett.
Yeah, I kind of had her penciled in for this award at the start of the season. I kept hearing from people in Starkville that they had a player that was going to be really, really good and that they were going to be. And it turns out they were. They are loaded. And Tootie's been a big part of that. I mean, she's averaging 16 points, 5 rebounds a game, 4 assists. She's just right in the middle of everything they're doing right there, in the middle of that offense. And she's 6 foot tall. I mean, she stands out. When you look at her against most of the opponents that she goes up against, she's got a size advantage. And she uses her body really well. So no surprise there in 7A either.
Tyler Cleveland, kind enough to give some time, taking the turn, taking a break. We're going to help his golf game right now by giving him a break. Of course, you can find him on X and also SB Live. Tyler, appreciate your time. Look, best of luck on the back nine. We'll talk we'll talk tomorrow, and we'll see how you do.
All right. Thanks, Jake. I'll talk to you then.
See ya. Tyler Cleveland on your radio. We're brought to you by Ashley Howie, Crown Lake Realtors, 769-226-3782, Facebook.com/Ashley Howie Realtor if you're looking to buy, sell, or relocate. Back in a bit.
With Jake Wimberly on the afternoon drive.
One of the last pure pleasures I have left in my life.
Yeah, maybe you ought to get a life first, okay? On ESPN 105.9 The Zone and online at thezone1059.com.
Appreciate Tyler Cleveland jumping in. We're brought to you by Matt Timms and the MT Insurance Group. Let them shop a quote for you for auto, home, or business in 2024. 601-594-3540. We'll have Kelly Ford at 4:30 to 5 o'clock. I was going to say Keith Hardy. That'll be Friday at 4:30. We'll have Rafi Esparza tomorrow at 4:30. Chris Marlar coming in at 5:15. Let's go to the Malone Roofing Carlo line. Let's go to More Bully. More Bully, happy Valentine's Day. How are you?
Happy V-Day there, Jake. How's it going?
Man, I am good. Hey, before I know you probably have some questions, I know that you are a man of increase, so to speak. And
sure.
I am sure that you have gone out and done wonderful Valentine's Day shopping for your significant other. What did you get her?
Jake, we don't participate.
See, that's actually the way you really do it, right?
We exchanged cards because I myself buy my wife flowers about once or twice a month.
See?
And she don't even like red roses. So there.
Told you.
I get off easy. So we are going to the beach next week, so there's that.
Perfect. All right, go ahead.
Hey, I need to tell Beaver something. I need to apologize, Beaver, because I'm shifting a little from my plan that I gave you on this phone call. My bad. Jake, do you have numbers on the demographic makeup, male versus female of your show?
We've got a pretty good idea, yes.
Okay, I'm guessing it's majority male.
Yes, around 70 to 73% male.
Sure. I was going to say super majority, so that's true.
Yeah.
So can I ask you a question?
Absolutely.
Why are national companies running feminine hygiene products on this show?
Well, Beaver. Well, let me tell you how that works, okay? And this is just how it works. So you have what we call national agencies. They'll come in and they buy what we call cluster.
Okay, I really don't care. I got to get to my call.
Oh,
Thanks,
my God. See ya.
Hey.
Yes.
Listen. So how many people did you say Michigan's putting in the draft?
18. No, 18 going to the combine.
Yeah, combine. Okay. So, Jake,
I thought you had a call.
I do.
Oh.
No. I said I got to get to this call.
Oh, go ahead.
No, sorry. No. So, you're throwing me off. So, what's the – I like you. I darn near love you, okay? But you said they're putting 18 people into the combine, right?
Yes.
Let me ask you something. How many start on offense in football?
How many? You mean on just a traditional football team? 11.
Yeah. A football team. 11. Correct?
Yes.
How many on the defensive side of the ball?
11.
11. So why would you, with your mindset, with your smartness, say that's 3 short of an offense and defensive team?
18
plus 3
is 21.
And how many is on offense and defense total?
Well, you're right. It would be 22. See, I missed it by 1. See, even I make mistakes. Obviously, a lot of them today.
Let me ask you something. What's this little toy you have that you play with every night that you invented that puts all these numbers in and you come out with these great stats and you tell people how to bet their money? What's that called?
Oh, you're talking about the hourglass.
That thing. You want me to trust you with my money after that's done?
Well, it's one.
I mean, come on. Come on.
It's been a long day. Can I get a mulligan?
I had a long day. I do have something to tell you that's really good information. You were talking about candles. I took my wife, because that's what I am, a lover, not a fighter. I took her to a day in the country this year. And we found this local candle company called Stix, S-T-I-X, and Stone Candle Company.
Yeah.
She makes them herself. Young entrepreneur. Dude, we got the bourbon and butterscotch candle. You talk about a manly smelling candle.
No.
Dude, you need to look that up. We have it in our back
locker room manly or what? I mean, we're talking about like locker room kind of or what?
Yeah, like you walk around like, hell yeah, it's my house. Come on, try to bring it.
I'll have to try it.
On. And the ladies like it too. But you need to try it.
I'll try it.
I promise you, you will not be. It sits in our back bathroom, and when we light it, it's the whole house. I promise you. That's the word on the street from More Bully.
Very good.
We're going to need a sponsor for that.
All right. Find me one.
Okay, I got it.
I'll cut you. Appreciate it.
See you.
Bye. 601-897-1059. That was so much in that call.
Dude, Well, I might as well. That dude's on one today. I might as well go ahead and tell you what he said off the air.
Might as well.
This is what our conversation consisted of when he first called in. He goes, "Hey, what has 5 toes and isn't your foot?" I said, "What? My foot." Then he says to me, "Hey, how does an Eskimo make his igloo?" How? Igloos it together.
Has he been going to Space Ghost for these jokes?
Sounds like. And there was a third one in there. Oh, my. It was equally as bad, but I can't remember.
Those are bad. Those aren't good. I'm glad he didn't come to the air with that. RT said that's a great candle for alcoholics and overweight people. Let's see. You can text us 601-885-3776. That is the Cowboy Maloney's text line. We've got more information on 14 quarterbacks are going to the Combine. So 14 quarterbacks, and that's a lot of guys at the Combine. Typically, you get anywhere from 8, 10, 12, 14, but we got 14 dudes going to the Combine. We'll get into some of that. Also, potentially adding a 2-minute drill in 2024 could mean for college football. We'll get into this possible rules change. And the expanded college football playoffs 2024 format is close to being finalized to the 5-7 model. Again, they're going to give this Washington State guy an opportunity to at least try to prove his case on why the Pac-12 should stay, or Pac-2 should stay as one of the power leagues. Dog Tired Florence, when is a door not a door? When it's a jar. What do you think about that? We're getting some awesome Valentine's Day jokes in here today. More Bully started this. 601-897-1059. That is the Malone Roofing caller line. Also, one note here to mention that just came across before we get to the top of the hour. ACC approved in-game helmet communication and sideline video usage per NCAA approval. Each concept was successfully used in bowl games and has been on track for adoption at the NCAA Rules Committee meetings for the week of February 26th. So the ACC is going to be one of the first to do that. In-game helmet communications and sideline video usage as well. We're brought to you by Sound Communications, online at soundcomav.com. Collaborate, design, and build with Sound Communications. They've been around since 1955. Let them help you in your office, church or place of worship, schools, government buildings, medical facilities, and more. SoundComAV.com. Back in a bit.
The number you have reached.
WRKS Pickens Jackson. From college football to the NFL to high school football. 365 days a year. Hear it all on Jackson Sports Authority. Live and local at 105.9 The Zone and online at thezone1059.com. Now let's get back to the afternoon drive with Jake Wimberly.
Hour 2 brought to you by Mississippi Legends Grill, where everybody knows your name. Bingo, trivia, kids eat free on Thursdays. Let them help you today. And, of course, get in there on Friday, Catfish Friday, Fried Chicken Friday. Everyone knows your name at Mississippi Legends Grill, corner Castlewoods Drive and Lakeland Drive. That is Mississippi Legends Grill. Tyler Cleveland, hour number 1, joined us to talk Miss Basketball Awards, courtesy of C Spire for the MHSAA. Kelly Ford, 4:30 to 5. We'll have Chris Marler Saturday down south at 5:15. Text us 601-885-3776. That is the Cowboy Maloney's text line. And, of course, get out to Ameristar Casino. We're brought to you by Ameristar Casino and play today. March Madness will be here before you know it. It's hard to believe that we are close to that. And we'll talk a little college basketball here in just a bit. But when you look at NCAA championship odds for the championship basketball tournament, obviously Purdue and UConn with a significant advantage in the odds. Purdue right now 6.5 to 1 to win the whole championship. UConn number 2 plus 675. Next in line's Houston at 9 to 1, and then Arizona at 10 to 1, and then it drops from there at Tennessee 15 to 1, Auburn 18 to 1, North Carolina 18 to 1, and Alabama at 20 to 1. That's your 3, 6, 7, 8 top 8 teams, courtesy of Penn Gaming and Ameristar Casino. Now we know how this tournament will work. I mean, just because Purdue and UConn are fairly significant favorites doesn't mean that they're necessarily going to win it. Now, both teams have really, really good basketball teams. What in the world? RT, I have no idea where you're at. Citizens arrest come. I have no idea. Be careful out there. I have no idea what you're doing. Hey, did you know Taylor Swift did not attend the championship parade today, and Swiftie fans are not happy. Of course she's not going to attend the championships parade. This whole thing's over. You think her and Travis are spending Valentine's together?
Okay, she needs to be disgusted with this buffoon, by the way, because she is a songbird. She is America's songbird. She is a singer. And first off, during the trophy presentation the other day, that horrible Viva Las Vegas rendition he did. And then today, at the parade, he's up there singing I Got Friends in Low Places, but he's just drunk screaming it.
Oh, my God. Was he really?
Yeah.
He's such a horrible guy. He's a horrible guy. 601-897-1059 is the Malone Roofing caller line. All right, let me get into a couple things here. One, Brett McMurphy has released his way too early college football playoff bracket. Way too early playoff bracket by Brett McMurphy. So, and again, this is Action Sports Network. You can make an argument Brett's the best in the business, if not one of the best for sure. He has Georgia winning the SEC and a number 1 seed. Georgia winning the SEC and a number 1 seed. He has Ohio State winning the Big Ten and a number 2 seed. He's also got Oregon. Let me make sure. The Ohio State 2 seed. Why is his not? Okay, Florida State, the 3 seed. He's got Florida State as the 3 seed. I had to figure his bracket out real quick. Florida State, the 3 seed, winning the ACC. 4 seed, he's got Utah as the 4th seed, winning the Big 12. So Georgia 1, Ohio State 2, Florida State 3, and Utah 4. Because remember, the top 4 champions get a bye. Let's go to DJ real quick. DJ, welcome in.
Well, I heard you talking about the parade, and like I said, it's just an unfortunate situation.
It is.
At the conclusion of the parade, and of course, I don't wish any harm on anyone, but I think the world's heard enough of Travis Kelce and Taylor Swift. But I will say, Andy Reid, in my opinion, is definitely the greatest coach in the NFL today. But can you imagine the kind of control you got to have to deal with that kind of antics on the sideline?
Oh, there's no doubt. I said that when it happened. I said, man, he is a much better guy than I am, because that would have turned south quick. And not only that, I mean, for him to do that, I'm talking about Kelce, it makes you wonder. You have to wonder how he acts in the locker room. How does he act in the locker room? Is he a guy that is coachable? And it's a wonder that maybe something like that hasn't kind of torn a hole in that locker room.
Absolutely, and the thing is, and I'm gonna be honest. In the second half, Kelce was as valuable as anybody on the field. The way he played, the blocking, what he did. But the thing is, and I've been around people that were on. I lifted weights most of my adult life. I had 2 back surgeries, and I still do some light workouts. But I've known people that do a lot of lifting and their own different kind of regimens and everything. And sometimes their rage is out of control. Not necessarily just with steroids, but other chemicals that are out there. But I mean, he didn't look. I saw Tom Brady get into it with his coach before, but it was a different thing. You know what I'm saying? I saw Peyton Manning get into it with his center. He looked like he was ready to. You know what I'm saying?
Sure.
And the thing is, when you're that young and that strong, to lose sight that you're physically coming into a 65-year-old man, that shows something about your state of mind. But anyway, love your show, and I wish I could get into your basketball talk, but we got spring football coming up, so I'll hang in there.
Thanks, DJ. Appreciate it. 601-897-1059. Yeah, see, and I'm telling you, that's why we talk so much football. I mean, most of this area, they don't care about that. I mean, they'll play the tournament. They'll do their brackets. Same way with college baseball. I mean, a lot of you knuckleheads like to say, oh, I remember a couple years ago, State's a baseball school now. No, you're not. You're a football school. Ole Miss is a football school. This is a football region. That's why we talk so much football, and we'll continue to. Now, we will talk and highlight the other stuff. Speaking of football, Brett McMurphy, Georgia won on his way too early playoff bracket. Also, Ohio State 2, Florida State 3, Utah 4. And that's where people are going to get very aggravated with this ranking, that the way they do this, because it's not going to be indicative of the real poll. The real poll is, Utah at number 4 will not be the 4th ranked team in the poll. Likely it's going to be Texas, or it's going to be Alabama, or something to that effect. But let's move on. Number 5, he does have Texas. Number 6, he has Oregon. Number 7, Notre Dame. Number 8, Missouri. Number 9, Penn State. Number 10, Alabama. Number 11, Michigan. Number 12, Boise. So he does not have Ole Miss in his way too early playoff poll. So he would have Missouri playing Penn State right now, and Missouri as a 1.5-point favorite. Boise State playing Texas. Texas a 19-point favorite. Michigan playing Oregon. Oregon a 1-point favorite. Alabama taking on Notre Dame. Alabama a 2.5-point favorite. All of those would be home games, by the way. Missouri would host in this situation. Texas would host. Oregon would host, and Notre Dame would host. Then it would move to the 4 bowl games. The VRBO, Verbo Fiesta Bowl. Utah versus number 5, Texas. And Texas is a 5 seed. He would have as a 9-point favorite. That's the way it would likely be. Florida State in the Peach Bowl against Oregon. Oregon -10. Rose Bowl, Ohio State, Notre Dame. Ohio State a 5.5-point favorite. And Georgia, Missouri in the Sugar Bowl. Georgia as a 9-point favorite. Semifinal games, Orange and Cotton, January 9th and 10th. Georgia, a 4.5-point favorite over Texas in the Orange Bowl. And that could be second time they play, because they would have played probably in the SEC title game. Ohio State, Oregon, same thing. Cotton Bowl, Oregon 0.5-point favorite. And he has, for the 2025 National Championship, Georgia, Ohio State, Georgia -1.5. So early, way too early, he has Ole Miss first team out in the Cheez-It Bowl against Nebraska as a 14-point favorite. Now, if Ole Miss, let's just use this for this context of this conversation, is the first team out of the playoff in the Cheez-It Bowl, that is going to be a really big disappointment for the Ole Miss fans. Let's go to DJ again. DJ, welcome back.
Hey, real quick, not a rebuttal, but let me ask you this. Don't you think it's paramount that the committee do everything in their power to finagle the seeding to ensure that rematches don't take place in the second round?
Man. Yes,
I think it's paramount.
I don't know if they're going to do that, though. I get what you say. Go ahead.
And the thing is, I think that's got to be part of the new bowl process, because now once you get past the second round, but the thing is, it wouldn't be, let's say Georgia and Texas are the 2 best teams in the country. It wouldn't be fair when all you got to do is finagle the seedings, because we're talking about seedings. We're not talking about leaving these people out anymore. Meanwhile, hang on, listen.
Thanks, DJ. Got to take a timeout. We'll get back into that. We're brought to you by BCI. Go to BCIPeople.com, 601-427-4185 for managed IT services, data backup solutions, ransomware protection, disaster recovery planning, and more. BCI, your network knight in shining armor, 601-427-4185. Back in a bit.
It's time to get
back in the game
with Jake Wimberly and the Afternoon Drive.
That's entertainment.
On the station that specializes in the Mississippi sports you love.
Now we're talking.
Live and local on ESPN 105.9 The Zone and online at thezone1059.com.
Texas 601-885-3776. That is the Cowboy Maloney's text line. 70 years in the business. Locally owned and operated, largest appliance inventory in the state at Cowboy Maloney's. We'll have Kelly Ford coming up in the next segment. KFordratings.com, college basketball and football. And we'll get back into this Brett McMurphy bracket here in just a bit. Somebody texts us, okay, what's the deal I hear about the Warriors trying to get LeBron? You are our NBA basketball savant. So I am not sure. What can you tell us on this?
Oh, you know how closely I follow the NBA.
Yep.
Yeah, so, I mean, the answer is in the question. The question is self-explanatory. What's this you hear about the Warriors tried to get LeBron? The Warriors tried to get LeBron. Nothing more to it. The Lakers told them, nah. And I would think that to get LeBron James, you would have to give up everyone not named Steph Curry. Now, that's enough NBA talk. This weekend, though, let me tell you, your day, Sunday, All-Star, NBA All-Star game.
Can't wait.
And it's NBA, you know, they have the festivities and whatnot. Okay, so the night before, Saturday night, since they got the NBA festivities going on, that's on TNT. So usually on TNT, that's their wrestling show. So they've canceled that for the All-Star festivities. I would say, Jake, that wrestling is more real than the All-Star game. Agree or disagree?
I would tend to agree with that. 100%. I'm just surprised the NBA hasn't gone the way of the NFL Pro Bowl and just done away with the game. Get them out there, just shoot threes. Jack up threes for 2 hours. So who can shoot the most threes in 2 hours? All right, let's see here. Back to this bowl projection and bracket. Let's see here. He has Oklahoma in the ReliaQuest Bowl. He has Kentucky in the AutoZone Liberty Bowl. LSU and Miami in the TaxSlayer Gator Bowl. It's got Kansas State and USC in the Alamo Bowl. Also got, Waswabi Fenway Bowl. Auburn at the Texas Bowl. And trying to see if he has Mississippi State in here in any bowl game. Or Southern Miss. Way too early bowl projections, courtesy of Action Sports Network. Nope. Beaver, do you think Mississippi State can make a bowl game this year? Their win total by FanDuel is at 4.5. 4.5. You haven't seen numbers like that since the Kroom era. Thanks, Zach Arnett.
Coming off last year, there's not really much to believe to tell you that they're to make you feel good about the bowl chances.
No, it's not. And then, of course, the same way with Southern Miss, they're going to both have to have much, much better seasons, obviously. The RT says the NBA does flag football. NBA should do horse. I tend to agree with that. 2024 NFL CBS Sports quarterback projections. They now have 5 quarterbacks going in the first round. That just seems so high. You think we can get 5 in the first round? Why will you look perplexed over there?
No, not perplexed.
Oh, okay.
This flag football business, the NFL's going so hoored on this flag football. Someone in the NFL Network the other day said, within 4 years, I think girls flag football is going to be bigger than women's U.S. soccer. Women's U.S. soccer, that's our only, successful soccer team. And already the flag football hasn't even happened, and you're trying to tell me that it's going to be bigger than that?
I feel like the NFL's late to this. Way late. And let me tell you why. And flag football's been around for a long time. I mean, I remember, universities have always played, they played flag into the 90s. I mean, you could play intramurals and play flag forever. And then when I got out of college, I ran a flag football team. A lot of people that listened that used to play in flag, we had massive leagues here in the Metro Jackson area. Massive for years. Played down around Hughes Field on Sundays. Played at Smith Wills in what they called a semi-contact league. Brandon, Pearl, Richland, leagues were everywhere. Us and several other teams would travel. Florida, Texas, Louisiana, go everywhere and play. I mean, it was big. Flag was massive in the 2005, 2006, 2007. They even had the USFL, United States Flag League, where you could go to Mexico. Like, it was really, really big. So, like, I don't understand this now all of a sudden found flag football by the NFL. Like, this has been a thing for a long time. And even the women flag has been around for forever. Like, this is all of a sudden some new idea.
Yeah, but now since the NFL is behind it, let's just rewrite it as if it has never existed, and let's put our NFL narrative behind it, and just create stories and say things like it's going to be bigger than women's soccer, who's won a World Cup before, more than one. Yeah, that's the thing. So in this, you didn't have the NFL spin machine behind you.
No, and there was, and I'd have to go back and ask a couple buddies of mine, and some of you may be listening that played for who I'm fixing to say. In the 90s, there was a team out of Jackson called The Group, and they would wear you out. When I say they beat you 50-0. And they went everywhere. Kind of like the Godfathers of this whole start of this flag concept in Jackson that was massive in the 90s, early 2000s. And the Group would go, I mean, they were literally the cream of the crop. These guys, I mean, those guys that played at Jackson State, they played all over. I mean, but they were just well-oiled machine. And flag's a little different game. It's not all pitch and catch. There's some wrinkles to it. There's some ways to do things that you can't really do in traditional football. But that was 25 years ago. I mean, so like this, and I don't even know if people still play flag. I got out of it in 2013. I don't know if people still do. I've actually had people reach out to me before and say, hey, you want to start a flag league again? I don't have any time for that. I wish I did. I just don't. But I don't understand this new, like, all of a sudden flag football is this new thing. It's been around for a long time. Long, long time. Let's see here. Res Dog. MSU will make a bowl. I guarantee it. Well, there you go. Valentine's Day, Res Dog has predicted Mississippi State to a bowl game. Chicago Bears still projected to get Caleb Williams with the first pick. Do you think that really happens? What happens? Well, nobody's really talking about this. Where is their current quarterback going to go then?
Steelers.
Fields going to the Steelers?
That's the word on the street now.
Really?
And, the word is simply because Adam Schefter just happened to mention the other day that possible trade destinations, and then he threw in the words, Mike Tomlin is a big fan of Justin Fields. Therefore, that simple phrase, we're going to latch on and say, oh, he's in Pittsburgh. No doubt.
Do you think somebody outside of Chicago, we got to take a break here, but a Tomlin or somebody else could make him a better quarterback?
Yeah. Yes, I do. And not just specifically Mike Tomlin, although I love Mike Tomlin. Anyone, well, not anyone, but most teams not named the Bears. And you know how I feel about Justin Fields. Look, I think he's a little bit slightly above average. He's an average quarterback. But the Bears have that's not doing him any favors. The Bears can't get offense right.
No.
Bears can never get offense right.
They haven't had offense right since Jimmy McMahon and Walter Payton. Hey, we're brought to you by the MHSA, officially become official today. Head over to their website to learn more, MISSHSA.com, 601-924-6400. Kelly Ford, coming up next.
Ladies and gentlemen, the time has come to go
back to the afternoon drive with Jake Wimberly. With the hottest sports stories of the day.
For one of those moments, it only happens
right here
on ESPN 105.9 The Zone and online at thezone1059.com.
Brought to you by Clinton Body Shop. It is the afternoon drive, and of course you can find them on their website, ClintonBodyShop.com. Clinton and Richland location, 601-924-2159. In Richland, 601-932-0033. 0459. That is Clinton Body Shop. We'll get your text read. Sorry, I do see a lot of them in here, and the system is just, we're going to have to get a new system. But I see all of them. Jables, Miko, More Bully, several in here. Bernard, Res Dog. We'll get all these caught up. We got to get through our next interview, and then we'll get caught up on the text line. And, of course, you don't want to miss this interview. Kelly Ford, always kind enough to give us some time. K Ford Ratings on X, also kfordratings.com. Kelly, welcome in, sir. How you doing?
I'm doing well, Jake. Thanks for having me. I always appreciate it.
Man, I appreciate you as always. A lot to get to in the next 30 minutes. Let's start with Super Bowl. Get your thoughts as we close the door on the 2023 season, which I thought was a fantastic ball game. But your thoughts on what you saw and as we now turn the page in the NFL as well.
I want to start right there, Jake, because there's been so much talk over the last couple of days, and people have broken down every angle and talked about almost everything. What you said you thought it was a great game, I keep hearing that from so many people. Jake, where I immediately went after the Super Bowl, it reminded me of another high-profile sporting event, the 2022 FIFA World Cup. And I'm not sure how much you or listeners might remember about that, but it was Argentina and France, and this was in December of 2022. It was a Winter World Cup because it was over in Qatar. And Messi and company were up 2-0, really controlling the game. And it wasn't that good of a game until the 80th minute. Kylian Mbappe scores 2 goals in 2 minutes. Now it's game on. The last 10 minutes of regular time, the 30 minutes of extra time, it went to penalties. It was a fantastic finish, but it wasn't, to me, a great World Cup final. That's kind of how I feel about this Super Bowl, Jake. It was a really good last quarter, last half, if you want to say that. And then obviously went to overtime, and that's exciting. I don't think it was that great of a game overall, but, man, did it end on a really high. So that part I really enjoyed, and you know what? We talked about it leading into it. I said the numbers like San Francisco, Vegas like San Francisco. You bet against Patrick Mahomes at your own risk, and Patrick Mahomes, once again, Chris Jones in the defense, of course, but Mahomes in a Super Bowl, big time. He shows up, and you can't be surprised about it.
No, you can't. Kelly Ford on your radio, K Ford Ratings on X, and of course kfordratings.com. Yeah, and when I say what I liked about it, and everybody looks at the same guy or girl, and they don't think they're beautiful, right? I mean, everybody looks at the same meal, and some people like it, some people don't. I don't mind defensive football games. I don't mind chess matches. So it just depends on kind of what. Now, was it exciting in the terms of offensive production and big plays early? Absolutely not. But let me ask you this about the finish and then moving on, because Chris Jones, was adamant today at the parade that he will be back. We'll see if they do get those contracts worked out. Should they be the favorites for, a three-peat? And can you now quantify this as a modern dynasty?
I'll take it in reverse order, Jake. I do think you can call this a modern dynasty when you look at what they've achieved in the last, 6 years with three Super Bowls back-to-back for the first time in 20 years since the Patriots. I mean, yeah, I do think we are in the midst of a Kansas City dynasty, and they've been, the team to beat in the NFL. Patrick Mahomes, if the Chiefs get back to the AFC Championship game in the 2024 season here, Jake, coming up 2025 January playoffs, if they get to the AFC Championship game and lose that game in regulation, that would be the earliest that Patrick Mahomes has ever been eliminated from the playoffs as a starting quarterback. He's lost a couple of AFC Championship games. Both those were in overtime. I mean, when you think about how deep they've been going to the playoffs, they're winning Super Bowl titles. To me, yes, I think they are a dynasty now at this point. You said, should they be the favorites? Are they the favorites? Again, you bet against Patrick Mahomes and that team at your own risk. I do think they are a favorite, if not the favorite. To me, you're looking at kind of a handful of teams. It's the Chiefs, it's the Ravens, and it's the Bills out of the AFC. I like each of those teams to be kind of in that preseason contender favorite category. And in the NFC, it starts with the 49ers. I know they've had heartbreak. I know it's happened a couple times now in the last 4 years, and people are questioning, can Shanahan win the big game? I think he's a really good coach. I think he's putting them in a position to be there. I don't agree with every call and decision that he makes, but I think the Niners are the favorite in the NFC next year, and the Chiefs are among the favorites in the AFC for me.
When you look at this NFL draft, and I know we haven't really talked a whole lot about it because it's we're just now to that point, and you start looking at some of these projections of quarterbacks, and I'm looking just let's see, let me find that in the stat deck. I'm just right here now on on3.com, and this is courtesy of CBS Sports. They say up to 5 quarterbacks can go in the first round. And I don't know how much work you've had a chance to do on this yet, but when you look at Caleb Williams, Jaden Daniels, and I'm just going through the list here, Drake May, let me find the others that they have as possible first-round guys. Go down to
got to be J.J. McCarthy, maybe Michael Penix.
Yeah, you got McCarthy, and then you've got Penix. Yeah. So do you think that there are first 5, off the cuff, 10,000 foot, we're going to fly right over the NFL for a minute, 5 quarterbacks that are worthy of first-round picks?
I do not personally, Jake, and admittedly, this is not my area of expertise. I do the work in college football, as you know, college basketball. I don't do a lot of projecting into NFL or a lot of NFL analytic work. That space is even more saturated. That market is. So I don't think there are 5 quarterbacks worthy of being in the first draft in the first round. But because of the importance that the quarterback position holds in football and in the NFL in particular, your teams are always reaching for quarterbacks. And when they hit, they're praised for it and they look smart and it's great. When they fail, people get fired. GMs and coaches get fired. So it's such an important position. We know that. I would not be surprised if 5 or more quarterbacks go in the first round just because of the premium of that position. But no, I do not think, top 32 talent-wise, 5 of those spots are held by quarterbacks in this year's draft class personally.
Let's go back to college. Saw that you had posted on this. Paul Feinbaum had mentioned this was back last year. The 95 Nebraska football team was probably the best of all time. That was his opinion. You said that you lean 1971 Nebraska as the most dominant of all relative, to the field of any given year. 1995 is number 6 on your all-time list. That 95 team was unbelievable. When you look at, and I know you've kind of chalked through a lot of this and done a lot of work on, best teams as far as eras, best team as far as, so you have the 1971 team as the most dominant team of all time. Is that correct?
Yeah, so the way that I would phrase that, Jake, and I don't have my list right in front of me at the moment, but the way I would phrase it is the 1971 Nebraska team. This is per my historical K-Ford power rating. They graded out better than any other team in the history of college football going all the way back to 1869. I've got estimated power ratings for every team that's ever played at the highest level of college football. 1971 Nebraska graded out higher than any others. What that means is in the year 1971, Nebraska was more dominant against the field that year than any other team has been in the history of college football relative to the field that given year. Again, per my power rating, because in 1971, if I remember correctly, Nebraska has wins over the number 2, number 3, and number 4 power-rated teams in that 1971 year. I want to say it was Colorado, Oklahoma, and Alabama, I think maybe in a bowl game it might have been. Nebraska beat all those teams, and those teams were 2, 3, 4 in some order in my power ratings from 1971. So to me, 1971 Nebraska, the most dominant team relative to the competition faced in that year of all time per my power ratings. 1995 Nebraska, which as Paul Feinbaum pointed out, going back earlier in the year, is his, quote, best team of all time. They came out number 6 for me, I believe, on that list of all-time, quote, best or most dominant college football team.
Yeah, real quickly before we take a break, they beat number 2 Oklahoma, not necessarily in any order, 35-31. That was the closest ball game they had all year. They beat number 2 Alabama in the Orange Bowl. Talking about this Nebraska team you referenced, 1971, 38-6. And then they also beat number 9 Colorado 31-7, and they had a couple shutouts, a lot of 7-point, 1-score games, a 3-point game against Hawaii. So extremely, extremely dominant. I definitely can see why you would have them as number 1. We are brought to you by Waze Energy. Make sure to find them at wazeenergy.com. Also, facebook.com/Waze Energy. Grab a rescue, engage, respond, and revive. Just find the interactive map on Facebook. Find them in a market near you, a location near you, like Hotspot Market 11 in Gluckstadt. Also, MJ Food Mart, Fast Lane, Lake Harbor, Chevron, Brandon Market, and more. More coming your way. Kelly Ford, one more segment coming up in just a bit.
Good afternoon.
Good afternoon. And welcome back to the Afternoon Drive with Jake Quimberly, where he's talking about anything and everything that's Mississippi sports.
No, great afternoon.
Right here on ESPN 105.9 The Zone and online worldwide on the Zone1059.com.
We're brought to you by A1 Guaranado, your hometown vehicle specialist, 601-939-1060. Anything under the hood, engine, starters, alternators, heat, air conditioner work, also rear differentials, rings, and pinions. 601-939-1060. Kelly Ford, segment 2 on a Wednesday. As we were off yesterday, back today. Kelly Ford talking college football, little NFL in the first segment. We'll talk some more of that as we move along here as we get time. Let's go, Kelly, into the K Ford Ratings basketball as we really are, kind of gearing up now, that final stretch in the conference slate. You have Houston as the number 1 team in the K Ford Ratings, Purdue, followed by Arizona, UConn, and Auburn in your top 5.
Yeah, Jake, and I don't know, who are you most confident in this year in college basketball? It's an open field. So you did name the top 5 teams in my power ratings. UConn, of course, the defending national champion, is probably going to be a pretty popular pick in brackets come March. But I think any of those 5 teams that you mentioned there, and I'd even extend beyond that, Tennessee's my number 6 power-rated team. Alabama, I know they've got some losses. They're number 7 for me in the power ratings. North Carolina, Iowa State, Marquette rounding out the top 10. There's really not a team that, quote-unquote, scares you a whole lot. UConn can be dangerous. Purdue can be dangerous. Houston, if they're playing their A game, is dangerous. But all these teams have flaws this year. All these teams have been beaten. It's an open year in college basketball, and I think that's exciting. It's going to make for a fun March Madness.
No, absolutely. And I would say that your ratings parrot, what Vegas is saying as well. If you look at what I'm looking at here, Ameristar Casino, Penn Gaming Property, Purdue, right now the favorite to win the whole thing at plus 650, 6.5 to 1. UConn plus 675. Then you go Houston at 9 to 1, and then it's kind of a smorgasbord here. Arizona, Tennessee, Auburn, North Carolina. We go 10 to 1, 15 to 1, 18 to 1. Alabama 20 to 1. And I wouldn't be surprised to see some of these what I consider value bet picks. Iowa State 20 to 1, Kansas 20 to 1. Marquette 22 to 1, Kentucky 25 to 1, even Duke 30 to 1. Somebody in that kind of layer of odds, so to speak, to win this thing this year.
Absolutely. And all those teams you just mentioned, if they weren't in my top 10, they're in my top 15, my top 20 of the power rating. So I do think there's a deep contending pool this year. And there's not necessarily 1 or 2 teams that rise to the top, which is going to make it fun. But yes, this could be the year that you see, a 4 seed, UConn just last year was a 4 seed, but a 5 seed, a 6 seed, make not just a run, but win the whole thing. Of course, last year in the national championship, having San Diego State, Florida Atlantic was a 9 seed in the Final Four. We've seen it in recent years, and I expect we're going to see it again this year. Speaking of those teams, Florida Atlantic right now, number 23 for me, San Diego State, number 27. So 2 teams, again, that have a lot of experience, probably going to be seeded, outside the top 4 or 5 lines, but have proven just last year they can make a run from that position.
There's no way to know until we see it on Selection Sunday, but, we talked a little bit with you about the SEC getting, possibly a line, 8 teams, 9 teams, and I do think there is now a defined cut between, Mississippi State, who is the 9th team in the league, at 5-6 in the league, 16-8, and then Georgia, the next team, at 14-10, 4-7. And then you work, upwards from there. Mississippi State, Ole Miss, Texas A&M, you go up the chain. Do you still feel that the SEC could potentially get 8 or 9 teams, or is it more like 6 or 7?
I do think the potential exists to get 8 or 9, Jake. As you mentioned, there are a couple lines of cutting there, right? So you've got your Auburn, Alabama, Tennessee, South Carolina, like Kentucky, Florida. I think those teams feel pretty darn good that they're going to be not just in, but have some good seeds too. It's really, as you mentioned, the 2 teams right there in your backyard, Mississippi State, Ole Miss, and I throw Texas A&M in there as well. That's going to be where the cut is how many of those 3 get in. I think 6 is your minimum, 9's your upside. And I wouldn't be surprised to see any number there, 7, 8, 9, depending on how those teams, specifically Mississippi State, Texas A&M, and Ole Miss, finish the year. And then what are they able to do in the conference tournament? And how many bid steals do we see in conference championship week from the other conferences?
Let's go back while I got you just a few more minutes to your K Ford ratings. And I'm looking through here. You obviously see your normal teams that we talk about, your Arizonas, your UConns. Houston has become a mainstay at the top. Even, I guess you could make a case over the last 3-4 years, even more so than Gonzaga, who you have at 19. Now, obviously, Gonzaga has been extremely successful, but you look at teams like Creighton, no stranger to this, at 15. You look at San Diego State, 27, who was in the championship game. Dayton at 30. Xavier, your Villanovas, not your St. John's, all in this list. New Mexico, a lot of non-traditional power type teams. Now, obviously, Villanova's won championships, have been there, and so Xavier. But you kind of follow me here. Like it looks like we're kind of littered here. St. Mary's is in here at 21 of teams that could cause a lot of fits for a lot of people in the bracket.
Yeah, Jake, there are, and that's exciting, and people like that about March Madness. Obviously, it's one of the main draws of it. I think, and we've talked about this, maybe it's been a couple of weeks now, but the Mountain West, a lot of those teams you just named are Mountain West teams. I mean, the potential exists for, 5 or 6 teams from the Mountain West Conference to get into the tournament. That's as many as maybe the Big Ten. And we talk about the Big Ten being, clearly one of, if not the best conferences in men's basketball this year. I'd say the Big 12 is there. But in terms of, top teams, the Big Ten is always getting mentioned. The Mountain West is right there with some really good teams. I mean, you mentioned New Mexico, San Diego State. Those are probably the two that jump out to me the most, but I think they're deep enough. They're going to get 5 or 6 teams in the tournament too, and that is good to see. It's fun to see in college basketball in particular, teams from outside the Power 6, we'll call it, soon to be Power 5, when you throw in the Big East in there too and the going away of the Pac-12. It's fun to see them involved, and the American's going to get a couple, the A-10's going to get a couple. It's going to be a fun March for sure, and it just adds to the drama and intrigue, and I wouldn't be surprised at all if we saw a team like a Florida Atlantic make a deep run this March.
Kelly Ford, make sure to find him on X at KFord Ratings, also KFordRatings.com. Kelly, I appreciate your time. We'll jump back into it next week, more college basketball, and we'll start to peek in a little spring football as well.
Love it, Jake. Looking forward to it. Hope you guys have a great one. Thanks for having me.
Thanks so much. Kelly Ford on your radio. We'll have Chris Marler at 5:15. Let me jump in here and get caught up on some of these texts because I missed a lot, and I think it's because of this. I'm blaming it on this computer over here. Or not computer, is it the whole Google system? Jables from way long time ago. Got a really nice package deal for my wife at Fresh Market. 2 9-ounce fillets, some asparagus, potatoes, 8 chocolate strawberries, a dozen roses for $59.99. Very good, Jables. Very good. More Bully just says Tootie? What is this? What is he doing?
Okay, see, some of these are so old you shouldn't even bother reading them. Like, this is when you brought up that player named Tootie talking to Tyler an hour and a half ago.
Yeah. See, this, I'm blaming it on the text line. Miko did send us, he says, what has no bottom to it? My son's stomach, part of the pregame baseball meal. So his son is partaking in a whole box of donuts. What do you think about this?
Yeah. Well, the best part about that, though, I noticed is, okay, that's a dozen donuts, but pay attention to the wording. Miko says part of his pregame meal.
That's true. He did.
So there's more to this than a dozen donuts.
Right.
Crazy.
Mean, you gotta have a whole menu for the pregame meal. Unnamed texter Pocahontas from Pocahontas says the way too early dude lost all credibility when he put Notre Dame at 7 and Nebraska in a bowl game. Oh, talking about Brett McMurphy. Let's see here. Bernard, wrestling in the NBA is all entertainment, and he's laughing. Is the NBA, can you just frame it up as entertainment now?
All-Star Weekend, most definitely.
We got several more I'll get to here. I got to get to a timeout. We'll have Chris Marler coming up at the 5:15 mark in the show. We are brought to you by our friends at Janney King. They are the king of cleans. Go to JanneyKingCleans.com. Let them help you in your place of worship, your venue, your building, office buildings, schools, medical facilities. Hey, you want to clean our office? You want to clean our property? Let Janney King do it. Go to JanneyKingCleans.com. More coming your way. Hour 3 up next.
WRKS Pickens Jackson, where it's
Time
to take a ride. Yes, we're back with Jake Wimberly on the Afternoon Drive. It's live, it's local, and it's on ESPN 105.9 The Zone and online at thezone1059.com.
Hour 3 brought to you by our friends at Capital Grill in Jackson, 5050 I-55 North Suite F. Capital Grill, your happy hour and afternoon destination. 18 TVs to get the games that you need. Basketball, baseball coming up. Hockey, you name it, they got it for you at Capital Grill. Also, handcrafted foods, beverage specials like Michelob Ultra and Bud Light, courtesy of Southern Beverage. Please drink responsibly. Get a game of pool, an appetizer, and a meal. Forget about the work day with Capital Grill of Jackson. We're also brought to you by Ameristar Casino. Get out and play today. Tyler Cleveland, Hour 1. We'll get all this on the podcast. Just go to Apple Podcasts. You can find it also on Google Play, Spotify, YouTube, and more. Search Jake Wimberly Show or Jake Wimberly Podcast or Jake Wimberly Afternoon Drive. All that stuff, it'll show in there. Tyler Cleveland, 3:30, talking winners for the girls' side. MHSA Miss Basketball Awards presented by C Spire. We'll talk boys tomorrow or young men. Also, Kelly Ford, 4:30 to 5 on NFL, college football, college basketball. Chris Marler coming up at 5:15. Let's see here. Let me jump back into here, make sure I get these texts caught up. Some of these are more relevant because of the time. Monkeys Riding Dogs on the Cowboy Maloney's text line. I played flag football in leagues in the 90s. One night I was actually warming up with Fred McAfee. He then pulled me over to the side and he started running drills. Pretty awesome experience. Brando. Beeve asked me if I wanted to help him get up a football league, two-hand touch football league. Is Brando fixing to help you with a flag football league or a touch league?
No, I've long been tired of Brando's lies.
Possum Neck Joe. The NFL might want to rethink playing in Brazil. I see what Joe put in here about Brazil, country summary. Yeah, Brazil is not a pleasant place to be, but I think the NFL will probably be okay because they're the NFL. Unnamed texter, I see where Matt Corral signed with the Birmingham Stallions. I hope he does good and gets back on track. I did not realize he was out of the league.
Yeah, it's on to the UFL, and I'm glad unnamed texter texted about this because I've been meaning to propose this to you, actually. It's been a long time since we went and witnessed a future-filled football game. Future-filled football. Actually, this Friday will be the 5-year anniversary of our trip to that loose AAF.
That frozen tundra game we went to?
Yeah. Why don't we think, just put it in your brain space, why don't we consider going to the UFL, the current future failed football league, this year?
We got a schedule?
Yeah.
I actually like to do it. I would.
Kicks off March 30th. The two closest teams here. Do we want to go to Memphis or Birmingham?
Birmingham. I'm not going back in that Liberty Bowl stadium.
Well, it'll be a lot warmer, though, because it'll be in April.
Let's think about that. Were you about to say put a pin in it?
Yeah. I was going to say put a pin in it, but then I thought the better phrase would be just put it in your brain space, put it in your whatever.
I like that.
Whatever I said.
All right, let's look at it. I'm serious. I'd love to go. Just go take it in, because so you don't give it much of a shot of making it.
No, none of these spring leagues. This one is only sticking around because it has phony Dwayne Johnson's name attached to it, aka The Rock.
Hold me accountable. Let's look at the schedule and let's find one and go. How about that?
Okay.
All right, we're going to do it. Beth Moen's offspring. Back from another long work trip. Hope y'all are well. Go Vols and Broncos. Life is good. And Dan Mullen and Lamar Jackson are still trash. Where did Dan Mullen get thrown into this at?
I don't know. He's just always trash.
Jinx. Hey, Beeve. Will the state baseball game be on the radio Friday? Thanks.
Not here, but it will be on our other station, 106.3. Actually, all the games, once again, this season. Mississippi State Baseball, 106.3.
106.3, Mississippi State Baseball. That's where you got it. And let's see here. White Denzel. Bad luck having your birthday on Valentine's. Nonetheless happy survival day. Luke Wimberly. Yeah, my brother's birthday is today. So he's always been a Valentine's baby. Of course, that's when he was born. Is that bad luck?
Yeah.
I think so.
Yeah. I mean, Christmas, you never want two occasions to fall together like that. Birthday on Christmas, that's the worst. Birthday on Valentine's, that's no good. You don't get one present.
That's true. And then also, I never thought about this, and I've never really discussed this with my brother. Maybe just because I've never thought about it until now. It's your birthday today, and shout out to my brother and his wife, Ginger. They're fantastic. They've been married over 10 years. They got 2 wonderful kids, awesome kids, Gage and Carmen. But if you have a bad Valentine's Day, that makes it a bad birthday, right? Equally a bad birthday. Let's see here. Space Ghost. I thought Beaver would like this article. I couldn't remove the picture. It doesn't go. Oh no! What do we do? What do you mean remove the picture? Doesn't go with this information. Let's see. Female stingray could have been.
Oh.
What is he doing here?
Space Ghost, you couldn't even send us the article that you promised us for 2 weeks about football, a real topic, but you never even sent that. You kept building it up, but you have foregone that to send us an article that's titled "Female Stingray Could Have Been Impregnated by Male Shark."
What is this, the National Enquirer? PT for MSU. Did y'all go to Birmingham or Memphis a few years ago? It's like an unwritten rule that the Liberty Bowl is going to be the coldest and hottest place ever. Yes, that is 100% true. That Liberty Bowl, we went to the Liberty Bowl, went to Memphis, and it was one of the coldest games. And I will tell you this, twice in my life, 2 of the coldest games have been in that stadium. I don't like the Liberty Bowl. No offense, Sean C. Memphis. I don't like that stadium. It is cold. It is always cold, it seems like. Or hot. If you go in September, it's going to be boiling hot. Something about being close to that Mississippi River, I'm telling you.
I've never been to a game in the hot times there, but I've been to 2 in the cold, and they're the coldest games I've ever been to.
Well, if they have a kickoff game in like late August, maybe you should go.
Yeah.
Just go experience it.
Side note, quick, PT for MSU. Let's circle back, because you weren't here yesterday. PT for MSU came in yesterday. He sat in for a little bit of Matt's show, and he brought us gumbo.
How about that?
Once again, PT for MSU, thank you. It's in the fridge, by the way, still, if you want to grab some.
Absolutely, I do. Absolutely. Thank you, sir. Appreciate the gumbo, and I appreciate your honesty. Well, if it hadn't gotten raided out of there.
Yeah, okay. I say, let me walk that back a little bit. You're right. I didn't think about that. I say it was in the gumbo. It was in the fridge when I left yesterday. So, yeah, like you said, people around here and food. We've talked about that before.
It is a real-life Hunger Games, no pun intended.
Yep.
Don't leave your stuff. I don't ever bring food and put it in that refrigerator. Because even if you get here in the morning and put it in there, it may not be there at lunch. And then nobody will be held accountable. You'll be like, hey, did somebody? I don't even know what you're talking about. What do you mean? Somebody just walks back there. Hey, SEC baseball obviously is kicking off this week. College sports on SiriusXM says in a loaded SEC West, Mississippi State baseball was picked last in the coaches poll. Chris Lemonis says that his players are pissed, and they talk about it every day. So do you think, and you look at the projections for most places, NOLA.com, Mississippi State dead last in the SEC West. I mean, you could be last in the West and still get into the national tournament, but I don't know that he can afford a last place finish, can he?
No, you can't. You can say, oh, they're mad. Yeah, I'm sure they are. But okay, what's that do? Nothing. After seeing you the last 2 years, I expect little.
Just a little bit. Hey, we're brought to you by our friends at Gutter Masters. Go to GutterMastersLLC.com. Get protected today. 601-503-7755. Online at GutterMastersLLC.com. That's our good friends at Gutter Masters. Make sure to find them on Facebook.com as well, /Gutter Masters. Chris Marlar coming up next.
Okay, we're back.
I'm ready. It's more of the afternoon drive with Jake Wimberly, where he's live and local on Jackson Sports Authority, ESPN 105.9 The Zone, and online at thezone1059.com.
Brought to you by our friends at Mac Hike in Madison Gluckstadt. It is Truck Month. Truck Month at Mac Hike Madison. Chrysler, Dodge, Jeep, Ram, and Chevy in Madison, Gluckstadt. You can head over to their website, MacHikeMadison.com. New and used inventory available on site and online. Get that great Mac Hike feeling in Madison, Gluckstadt. Chris Marlar, you can find him on X. Just search for Vern Funquist. And, of course, you can also find his podcast, Saturday Uncensored, as well. Saturday Down South, he is content director there as well, on X as well. Chris, welcome in, brother. How you doing?
I'm good, man. How are you?
Man, I'm good. And actually, that's Sat FB Uncensored. Sat FB Uncensored for the podcast. Hey, did the Super Bowl turn out like you wanted it?
Yeah, I thought it was a good game. Like in the fourth quarter, it was kind of a slow start, but it was, as a person that has been a Falcons fan for decades, anytime Kyle Shanahan blows a lead, it's still painful to have a reminder of that 28-3 lead against the Pats. But yeah, I hope that guy. I think I said on Twitter. I hope, besides his virginity, I hope that guy loses everything he has every single time out. So there you go. I don't even care how that sounds. That guy's the worst.
So we'll get into some other stuff here besides football, but I do have some football questions. Kalen DeBoer loses an OC to the NFL, to the Seattle Seahawks. What's the update or what's the latest on his staff? And, of course, some kind of bumps in the road here for him.
Yeah, I think it sucks that you're going to lose the OC after you just kind of took over. I think he's been on the job for about a month now. So that's DeBoer. Grubb leading for Seattle. I always have a hard time getting upset about coaches who do the right thing for their career, and I think it's probably the right thing for his career. And I think you're going to see a lot more of this too, with how unforgiving and demanding the college coach's calendar really is, because it just doesn't stop. It just never stops. So I think he made the right choice. I think it's I don't know how you're going to replace him. I think they decided to take the tight ends coach, who's also from Washington, elevate him to the OC. And I know very little about him, but I think that the thing that if you're a Bama fan trying to rest easy at night, the thing you keep looking back at is that it's Kalen DeBoer's offense, and I think that's the kind of positive, I guess, hope that you have going into the season, where it's not going to be a huge issue, because he is the guy that's been kind of pulling the strings behind the curtain for most of those years.
Chris Marlar on your radio. Make sure to find him on X, also SaturdayDownSouth.com. Brett McMurphy released today his way too early. It's never way too early to talk college football playoff, but some may say that, but way too early. College football playoff projections. He had 4 SEC teams in this from who you would think: Georgia, Texas, Alabama, and then Missouri. Ole Miss fans would take they would take up hands for that. They throw hands on that one, because the expectations in this state is as high as I've ever seen it for Ole Miss this year to make this playoff. I'm curious to see how this committee, I want your thoughts on this, really does this, because, and what I mean this is the selection part. We know that they got to take 4 champions from the Power 4 conferences. We know they got to take 1 group of 5 champion, but then after that, all bets are off, because Notre Dame, and they have Notre Dame in this projected field from Brett McMurphy. If Notre Dame wins 10 ball games, they're likely going to get in.
Right.
There's likely a scenario where Liberty runs the table again, and then maybe Memphis or Boise State, and they have Boise State in this field as well, has a good enough season to warrant consideration. How many SEC teams, just off the cuff, do you think it's going to be 4? Could it be 5? Or will we be surprised and it only be 2 or 3?
I think the surprise is the way they're going to end up being with this. So here's the thing. SEC fans, as soon as they started talking about going to a 12-team playoff, the idea and the thought was, and the assumption more than anything from SEC fans was, oh my gosh, we're going to get 4 or 5 teams in every year. Well, we don't know that. We don't know that. We've seen the BCS. We've seen them get 2 teams in a national championship multiple times, and in the BCS era, and also the college football playoff, and we've seen them get multiple teams in the college football playoff era as well. But we don't know what this looks like. So the assumption that everyone is just going to get in with 10 wins, I don't see that happening. And what you're going to end up finding is, the thing with Notre Dame is what really kind of pisses me off, because you're basically going back to the BCS era with how you're going to treat Notre Dame. And that is, if Notre Dame, during the BCS, if they got to 10 wins, it was an automatic bid. And that's ridiculous.
Yep.
I mean, that's a ridiculous thing to say, just because they don't play in a conference. I'll just, before I get on a little rant about it, I don't care that you play a military institute or an academy or something like that in Yankee Stadium once a year. It doesn't translate into having a really difficult schedule for me, and I don't care. So what I do worry about, though, is in the SEC, like getting 4 teams, it seems doable, but you're assuming that you're only going to get one group of 5. You're assuming that like you're only going to get one Big 12, and then where's the rest? Where are the rest of the teams coming from? You're probably getting matched from the Big 10 and getting 4 teams from there, and then just assuming the ACC is only getting 1 to 2 as well. We don't know that's how it's going to work. And when you start looking at these other conferences, like the Big 12 and like the ACC, you talk about going 11-1. Like, who's to say that they don't get in? Like an 11-1 Clemson probably gets in over a 10-2 Ole Miss or Mizzou or something like that. So I think the assumption that the SEC is just going to kind of run roughshod through this 12-team playoff is not going to, happen as much as people think it is.
No, I 100% agree. It's going to be fascinating to watch it all unfold and see how the selection committee does this when we get down to that point. Hey, when I say we, I don't necessarily mean you. I know we haven't talked a lot about it here. Are we sleeping on Tennessee? Should we be putting Tennessee in this conversation?
Yes. And real quick, the Ole Miss thing. I know you didn't ask, but like that schedule. It's difficult to look at a schedule in the SEC going into next year with everything they have added with Texas and OU and all that. But like you look at Ole Miss' schedule, very favorable. Same with Tennessee. And then I think they have a road game at OU, but you get Bama at home. I think they go on the road to Georgia. I could be wrong about that, but I mean, for the most part, like that schedule is pretty manageable. And this is going to be an influx of offensive talent that we have not seen yet under Josh Heupel at any stop, right? And that's the guy that made, not just Drew Lock like a 4,000 yard pass or whatever it was, but also like set the single season record for touchdowns in a season. If he can do that with Drew Lock, think about what he's going to do with a 5-star QB like Nico. And it's not just him; it's the supporting cast around him with the 5 stars he has coming in, like Mike Matthews from my alma mater in Parkview, like some of the other, like Brew McCoy coming back. I mean, they are loaded on offense. And the thing about Tennessee that no one has seemed to really understand over the last couple of years, that defense was probably one of the more underrated and overlooked units in the entire country. And at times is really, really good. So if they can continue to improve, like I think they probably will in year 4 under Heupel, I mean, I think that they are – I like them way over Mizzou to get to the playoff.
Chris Marler talking college football, a little NFL on a Wednesday. Got one more question for you. Hey, do you like college baseball? Do you get into college baseball?
I do. I like – now I'm not going to be watching like midweek directional schools versus the SEC teams, but – on the weekends like that, when you start getting some of these SEC matchups, I definitely will.
No, I 100% agree, and it should be a fantastic baseball season. Hey, make sure to find him on X, get him at Saturday Down South, get the podcast and more. Chris, I always appreciate your time, brother. Look, have a great rest of the week. We'll do it again soon.
Sounds good, brother.
Thanks so much. Chris Marler on your radio, brought to you by Bailey Lumber. Go to BaileyLumber.com. Monday through Friday, 7 a.m. to 4 p.m. And, of course, 2 locations, Brandon, Mississippi Highway 471. That is 2150 Mississippi Highway 471 in Brandon. Also, 4525 John Lynch Street in Jackson. GAF Roofing Specials. Also, windows, doors, hardware, and more. Go to BaileyLumber.com. Timeout on the floor. Back in a bit.
This is the home of the Chuck Oliver Show every weekday from 10 till noon on Mississippi's live and local sports authority. And where? We're back to Jake Quimberly with the afternoon drive on ESPN 105.9 The Zone and online at thezone1059.com.
Appreciate Chris Marler jumping in. Make sure to find him on X at Vern Funquist. Also get his podcast College Football Uncensored on Apple Podcast, and find him at Saturday Down South. He is content director for Saturday Down South. We're brought to you by Williams Newman Williams. Hey, you want to find out what your case is worth? Car wreck, truck accident, nursing home neglect. Less than 5 minutes they can do it. Go to WNWlegal.com. And, of course, you can always give them a call as well. That's WNWlegal.com. Also brought to you by Maristar Casino. Get out and play today. All right, I want to get back into this Tennessee conversation. Let me get caught up over here. Res Dog, I'm pissed MSU baseball sucks. As you should be. Now, let's pump the brakes. Let's just see what kind of product they roll out. Let's just see what they roll out. I mean, that's the beautiful thing about sports, right? I mean, we do a lot of talking in sports, but at some point the rubber has to meet the road, and the ball games have to happen.
Yeah, let's use the same word used at the beginning of football season. It's hope. Hope season. Friday starts hope season.
Are we not in hope season right now?
I mean, it starts Friday, officially. Hope season begins Friday.
Now, they play the Air Force Falcons. 3 games set this weekend. Duty Noble Field. It's going to be pretty cool this weekend. Always is kind of open a weekend. State goes out, sweeps Air Force. All is well. Everybody's happy, right? In maroon and white. Air Force knocks State off 4-2 on Friday. I don't know that State fans will be able to contain themselves. State wins on Friday, wins on Saturday, loses close on Sunday. Maybe some grumbling. Beaver, do they need to sweep Air Force to keep? Because, look, this whole thing is so volatile. I don't know that State fans can handle a loss this weekend. Not one. You let State fool around and lose Friday, opening ball game, opening weekend. X may crash. Gene's page may crash. Six Pack may crash. They all may crash if they lose on Friday.
Yeah, it's ridiculous to live and die with what happens opening weekend, but you people will. You people, and that doesn't mean just Mississippi State people. Mississippi State and Ole Miss people will both do this. Kind of pathetic. Opening weekend, 2 games in. Oh, man, we lost a game. That's it. I'm trying. Oh, man. See, I want to go with the hope season. I understand hopes and dreams. But at the same time, I get it. Your last 2 years have been ridiculous, but don't give up after 3 games. Try it this year. Try not doing that this year. See what happens.
Well, I don't know that they give up. Some do. It just becomes an eternal gripe season. It makes Twitter/X awful. But, I mean, State's non-conference schedule, 3 games against Air Force. Next week they'll play a 3-game set against 2 games against Austin Peay midweek. 3 games set against Georgia Southern. Jackson State. 3 games set against Mount St. Mary's. Southern Miss at Trustmark Park. Evansville, 3-game set. That's before they open SEC play on March 15th against LSU. If State is back, whatever that means, they shouldn't lose any more than 1 or 2 ball games in the non-con. If State struggles to, let's see, how many games is that? Let's see. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16 ball games. If they wander out to a paltry 10-6, it is going to be a long SEC schedule. And I mean long. Now, if they roll out to 15-1 or even 16-0 or 14-2, they got a shot. That's the one thing non-conference schedule will show you. Because you know what the SEC is going to bring. I mean, you're talking about, again, we've said this, pound for pound, you can make a case SEC baseball top to bottom is tougher than football. It really is. As far as collective competition in one conference. So if you roll out to a pretty good start in your non-conference, then that might bode well for your SEC schedule. But you can't roll out at 10-6 and lose to Air Force Day. I mean, yes, people will burn the whole world down, but then you look at the overall, and like you said, the baseball season's so long. I mean, college baseball, to me, the schedule's perfect as far as length, but it's still a long season. So that makes for a long, long off season. CWR, Notre Dame is garbage. Possum Neck Joe. Yeah, there was a shooting, sadly, Joe, at the Super Bowl parade today. And I hate to see that. I really do. Get tired of seeing stuff like that. All right, let's see here. Let's move along, shall we? Tennessee. I asked Chris Marler, are we sleeping on the Tennessee Volunteers? He was quick to answer yes. What you got over there?
I just don't appreciate how you skip over certain people.
What did I do? See, I don't see stuff. Hold on. Let me refresh. Oh, there it is. See, we're going to do something different here. Let's see. Clay. Who would you take with the best odds to win the College World Series? From Clay. Let me see if Ameristar's got College World Series odds out yet. Let me go over here. You can go to ameristarcasino.com. Is that who you were talking about? Me skipping over?
Well, he was one of them, but I thought Three Hump Camel had a good one, too.
Oh, let me come back to that. Let me go back over here first for Clay and see if Ameristar has college baseball odds. Let me go to baseball and NCAA. And let's go to futures. We do have College World Series odds. At Ameristar Casino, you can go to the Bet Builder and find it today. Wake Forest has the best odds at 7-1 to win the College World Series. It's courtesy of Penn Gaming, Ameristar Casino. Arkansas at number 2 at 7.5 to 1. LSU 8.5 to 1. Florida at 10 to 1. Gator Matt, there's your Florida bet. Tennessee 12 to 1. Clemson 18 to 1. Oregon State 18 to 1. Vanderbilt 18 to 1. Then you get off into your TCUs, Texas A&M's at 20s. So let me go back up because probably your field is, if you're looking for a value bet, I don't know that you're going to get much better than LSU at 8.5 to 1. If you believe in Tennessee, and how would you say his coach's name, Beaver? Tony?
Who are we talking about?
Tennessee. Is it Vitello?
Oh, I don't even remember. Vitello sounds good.
At 12 to 1. It's going to be hard to bet against LSU at 8.5 to 1. It's going to be real hard. Now, obviously, Wake is going to be really good out of the ACC at 7 to 1. So there's some good value in these teams. I mean, you're not talking anybody that's 2 to 1, not anybody that's 1.5 to 1 or 3 to 1. I mean, you got some pretty good odds out there. So even if you went with Wake at 7 to 1, $100 wins you $700. Give me LSU at 8.5 to 1. Let's go LSU 8.5 to 1. Rhino. He says that can't happen. Worst fall from grace ever. Hashtag Hell State. It's been bad. It has. Look, I want to see Mississippi State and Ole Miss return to really good baseball this year. It makes the spring better. You people are more happy when they're better. You know, we went off this magic carpet ride of State winning and then Ole Miss winning the whole thing, and then we just went, phew. Who do we need to blame for selling the souls of the baseball programs around here? Somebody did, right? And let's see here. Three Hump Camel. Eternal gripe season. Sounds like my last marriage. Very good. And before we go to break, real unnamed texture. State baseball has won or beat the eventual champion the last 3 years. What's the issue? What do you think about that?
Now, real unnamed texter. Let me go back to don't get all disastrous because real unnamed texter, I specifically remember you jumped on the ledge. You jumped on and off the ledge like 16 times last season. Don't get on that ledge.
Let's see. State Grad 98. You have skipped over my text the last 2 months now. Gee, now that is not true. Have I done that? I don't know that State Grad's texted in a while.
Yeah, I think you have.
Have I really? And RT. Jinx was Chris and more bully. All right. We're brought to you by Ranco Transmission, 1460 Old Brandon Road in Flowood, 601-939-9184, 50-plus years, foreign and domestic. Got to take a time out. One more segment to go. Back in a bit.
And action!
We got that and a whole lot more around here. It's the Afternoon Drive with Jake Wimberly.
What's the score?
He's got that, along with the hottest sports stories of the day on ESPN 105.9 The Zone and online at thezone1059.com.
Final segment on Wednesday? Valentine's Day. Happy Valentine's Day. Brought to you by Went McGee. He is the mortgage man. MortgageManMS.com for more information. Let him help you through a fairly volatile market, but he can get you where you need to be. Go to MortgageManMS.com. You need a pro like Went. Bank of England Mortgage, a century of American stability with the Bank of England Mortgage. Thanks to Tyler Cleveland, Kelly Ford, also Chris Marlar jumping in. Tomorrow we will have Paul Jones as well as Tyler Cleveland, Rafael Esparza, and we may tee another one up as well. Find the podcast on iTunes, Podbean, Spotify. Nope, we're not on Podbean anymore. Spotify, Google Play, YouTube, other places. All right, let's see here. Make sure I didn't miss any text. Happy Valentine's Day, Beaver. That's from DX. So DX sends you a happy Valentine's Day.
Happy Valentine's Day, DX. Thank you.
How about that? How wild is Walgreens and Walmart and Kroger right now, I wonder?
Yeah, I want to give people more credit. Like right now, 5:47 on the day of, I want to give people more credit. I don't think that they're that late. Not heading there at this. It's not even last minute. This is beyond last second.
Did you tell your mother Happy Valentine's?
Oh.
What?
Why would I do that?
Because it's your mother.
No, you know what? I feel like we've had this debate before. No, that's creepy as hell, man. I'm not telling my mom Happy Valentine's Day.
I told my mom Happy Valentine's Day.
Well, you're a creep then.
It's the first woman in your life ever.
No, it's a day of love. And I mean passionate love. Not just, you love your parents. It's not for that.
Why not? Jinx. Just left Kroger and it was dead. Also, they were out of steaks. RT, I bought my mom, 80-year-old mom, some slippers. See?
No, I knew it. I knew you were going to use that. Do not use RT as a reference to sell, to try to sell this.
Yes, Tiger Bait, we spoke of that briefly. The world does suck. World does suck. So you didn't tell your mom Happy Valentine's, or you're not going to tell her today, hey, I hope you had a really good Valentine's?
No, I'm not. I'm not. This is a day of romantic love, and I will die on that hill. This isn't just a day of love you too, mom, aunt, cousin, whatever.
You're dying on this hill.
Yeah.
So, like, if you had a daughter, you wouldn't tell her Happy Valentine's Day?
Well, okay, if we were at one of those, if I had a daughter and we were at you had your Valentine's party. Did you go to one of those this year?
What's that?
Did your daughter have the Valentine's party?
They did today.
At school?
I sent stuff. I didn't get a chance to go, but I sent stuff, yes.
That's a fun time. So if you were there and, some little kid was like, hey, Happy Valentine's Day. Yeah, well, then I'd say it back.
RT said he's got his daughter some plush pajamas. Churro, where's Churro been? Churro, where in the world have you been? The ghost of Churro agrees with Beav on this. So the ghost of Churro agrees with you on this.
See, that's the support you want to have behind you. You want Churro.
Where has he been?
You know what? That's a great question, because look at this. Last time he texted August 2nd of last year.
He's just been creeping.
Yeah.
Or maybe that is the ghost of Churro. I have no idea. I am just perplexed by this. Also, let's go look right quick. Oh, by the way, I'll get into this more. Time Traveler from 2671 returns to issue more terrifying news about 2024. I didn't even know we had a time traveler from the year 2671. Possum Neck Joe, I love y'all with a heart. Thank you, Joe. We love you too. See, is that weird? Oh, Joe has a genuine love for us. You should reciprocate that. And you should tell your mother Happy Valentine's today. You're not going to do it.
Nope. That's Big L's job.
Do you think did he win the day?
Oh, my God. I never know if or when he's listening, but I have a feeling he didn't.
Sometimes older guys forget. My dad forgot one year. I actually called him one day. This was several years ago. And said, hey, what'd you get Mom for Valentine's Day? He said, is that today? I said, yeah, it's today. You better get busy. Yeah. Old guys tend to forget this. Let's see here. Also, what was I looking at? Because I feel like we can stop talking about Taylor Swift now, maybe. But new numbers show massive impact that Taylor Swift had on female support for the Super Bowl. Did you see some of this? Super Bowl 58 attracted a record 58.8 million female viewers, marking a 9% increase from last year. Women accounted for 47.5% of the total audience, the highest proportion ever. And so do you think Taylor Swift helped pull those girls into it?
Yes, I do.
That much? So if she's not involved in the NFL at all next year, do you think we'll see a decrease?
Yep. Now, it wasn't all on her. I mean, you had fantastic matchup in Las Vegas, all that business played into it. But, yeah, I think the bulk of it was because of Swiftie.
Chief Shooting Bull, your best friend's mom always told you, you know who, Happy Valentine's Day. I don't even know where to go with that. Space Ghost. Man taking his lady to Walmart on Valentine's Day, and he sends some creepy... what are you doing, Space Ghost? What is he doing here?
Oh, my God. Oh, he's taking a... So what we have here, he has taken a picture of two people standing outside Walmart, but he took a picture of them in his side mirror. Creepy.
Very. Real quick, Rhett. Back in my 20s, I tried to break up with a girl the day before Valentine's Day, and she refused to accept it. For real, dude, she followed me around my apartment for about 10 minutes before my neighbor came in to see what all the yelling was. Yeah, breaking up with someone right at Valentine's Day, that can be just a little tough. And Tiger Bait, how do they know how many women watched the Super Bowl? I would have to dig deeper into that, how they knew that so quickly. Obviously, Nielsen rates TV ratings, radio ratings, all that kind of stuff. So I have to dig a little deeper into that because that is a great question. Do you know how they rate that? I'd have to look at it and see how they actually pull the numbers to do that. But they can actually get fairly close with that. Hey, are you buying Tennessee? What Chris Marlar's saying? He said they're going to be good. So they're going to be explosive.
Yep. I'm on board. I told you I was on board with Tennessee this year because they seem to be the one that kicked off the possible breakaway from the NCAA with their lawsuit. So I support them.
Yeah, and their schedule is very manageable. Very, very manageable. They still play Alabama, still play Georgia. We'll get into more of that. Thanks to Tyler Cleveland. Thanks to Kelly Ford. Thanks to Chris Marlar. I don't know why Space Ghost is asked about Matt Wyatt's C Spire family commercial. I have no idea. Remember, ketchup is king. Bacon's a delicacy. Aloha means goodbye. Be a man of increase. Happy Valentine's Day. Good night.
Business Communications Incorporated has been an information technology provider for over 25 years, serving the state of Mississippi and the region. Now more than ever, you need your network at your office, business, or place of worship protected from hackers and thieves. BCI is the security and technology team for you. From managed IT services to data backup solution, from ransomware protection to disaster recovery planning and more, BCI is your network knight in shining armor. Head over to BCIpeople.com or call 601-427-4185 to begin your protection today. Don't be held hostage over your network or data. Let BCI work for you.
When the game goes into overtime. But the game goes into overtime. The choice to enjoy is easy. Bud Light. Easy to drink, easy to enjoy. Pick up Bud Light at your local convenience store today. Enjoy responsibly. Anheuser-Busch Bud Light Beer, St. Louis, Missouri.
We talk constantly on the Out of Bounds show about talent. Getting the right talent is the difference between winning and losing in sports and business. That's what our friends at Kinetic Staffing can do for your business. Alan Lang and his team have been providing executive recruiting and long-term staffing solutions for management, accounting, and technology professionals in all types of companies for the last 15 years. Visit their website at kineticstaffing.com. That's kineticstaffing.com.
There's nothing like being comfortable at home, and Mississippi Smart Homes is here to make your home a little more comfortable. Jake Manning and the crew at Mississippi Smart Homes have put together an incredible package designed to help you into the world of home technology. A $2,500 value for only $2,000. The Mississippi Smart Home Starter Pack comes with a Google Hub and Chromecast, the Nest doorbell, lock, and thermostat, as well as an outdoor camera and lighting. So visit mssmarthomes.com today and live life a little smarter.
Denise has been playing jazz for 40 years. Last concert, one of the musicians fell sick with RSV. Respiratory syncytial virus, or RSV, is a highly contagious virus that can lead to breathing problems. This time, she's choosing to help protect herself with Pfizer's RSV vaccine, Abrysvo. Abrysvo is a vaccine for the prevention of lower respiratory tract disease caused by respiratory syncytial virus, RSV, in adults 60 years of age and older. Abrysvo is not for everyone and may not protect all who receive the vaccine. Don't get Abrysvo if you've had a severe allergic reaction to its ingredients. People with a weakened immune system may have a decreased response to Abrysvo. The most common side effects are tiredness, headache, pain at the injection site, and muscle pain. Ask your pharmacist or doctor about Pfizer's RSV vaccine, Abrysvo, respiratory syncytial virus vaccine. For full prescribing information, please call 1-844-989-7284 or visit abrysvo.com. Brought to you by Pfizer.